Okay, so the BYU Utah Holywar 2021 just ended. I'm sure a lot of people are not in the greatest mood in the world. It sucked to see that loss. I mean, came it kind of came down to the wire, but I think we all know that we're watching it. It really felt like we fell behind huge, and then we had a quite a surge, and we got back in the game, but then we fell right out of it. And I don't know about you, but I never felt like our defense, like as we got towards the end of the game, I didn't feel like our defense could stop BYU's offense. And I'll touch on that a little bit. I mean, just in general, that sucked. Obviously, the we couldn't get the 10 in a row. The first time since 2009 we've lost. I'm sure it doesn't feel great to talk about it for anybody. But I'm just going to kind of go over some of the things we can look at for the future, some of the things we could look at for the night tonight that might put it in, at least more of a positive context. So the first thing is Jaren Hall, the quarterback at BYU, number 3. I'm going to be brutally honest. When I watched him against Arizona, I did not think he was going to be a factor. He did not look that good. He looked like okay, like not a bad quarterback, but no one impressive. After tonight, I was blown away by what Jaren Hall was able to do. I mean, this guy was he was doing Zach Wilson-esque things. I mean, I can't recall the exact play, but there was a play where he rolled out, or he was in the pocket, and he was having to roll out a little bit, and then he stops, and off like his back foot, he throws this touch pass, just a dime to one of the receivers. But it was honestly tough to watch. It felt like after he started getting his momentum and getting in his groove, it was obvious that he was the best player on the field. I'm sure that's not something we want to hear, but when I was watching Jaren Hall, that's how I felt. When I watched their offense go against our defense, I was actually excited when they had to chew the clock because I knew we could stop the run. But if Jaren Hall were to keep the ball in his hands, we were not going to be able to stop him, whether it was passing, running the ball, no matter what. I mean, yeah, they called back that 66-yard touchdown run, but it happened. I mean, that should have been a 66-yard touchdown run. And that sucked, right? None of us like seeing that, but I would just say this. The reason I'm giving so much praise to Jaren Hall is just because BYU could be a lot better than we're treating them. With the way that kid played last night, I could see them beating a lot of teams. And I'm not going to say he's Zach Wilson, because it'd be hard to be Zach Wilson. That was the number 2 pick in the draft. But there were a lot of things that reminded me of him. And I would imagine that kid's going to go take BYU to be a really good team this year. All right, the second thing is Charlie Brewer. Now, this is 2 weeks in a row where he has started. I don't even think you can call it starting slow. I think you can call it starting just like sloth-like, just nothing. It is embarrassing. It's like there's no passing game. And then also, Andrew Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, is out here doing 3 passes in a row when Charlie Brewer can't complete a pass. And when our running game's getting 5 yards a run. Honestly, beyond me. I can't imagine how this would happen. And it was embarrassing, honestly. I really think with the Charlie Brewer situation, even once he got, what I would call hot, like he was making some throws, but I don't think I was ever impressed by him. What did he have, 150 yards all night? 1 TD, 1 pick? I mean, really, I think we got to take a look at Charlie Brewer. Because I didn't think that defense was incredible. It was a good defense, but to look like that against that defense, I think we got to look at Charlie Brewer, look at Cam, number 7, and make a decision. Because I'm not sure if Charlie Brewer is the guy for the future. I hope he is. I hope he steps up and makes that next step. But we don't have time for him to figure that out. He can't take 5 drives every game to figure out how to complete a pass. It's embarrassing. This is Division I football, top 25 football, and he's out here just being an embarrassment to our offense. All right, so A highlight of the night, though, was Micah Bernard, number 2 for Utah. I felt like he was by far the best player on our offense and likely the best player on the team. Maybe not quite the best player on the team, but tonight he was the best player on the team and has potential to be a huge breakout star. Micah Bernard, I think he finished with 146 yards, a touchdown on 12 carries. I mean, the guy was averaging 12 yards a carry. Just an animal. I mean, he's bouncing off tacklers. He's turning plays that look like 3-yard losses into 35-yard gains. The guy's legit. I want to see us give him the ball a lot more. Hopefully Andrew Ludwig takes a step back and looks at that and stops having Charlie Brewer give us 3 and outs for 4 drives in a row. Beyond me, dude. But anyways, so with Micah Bernard, another thing with Andrew Ludwig is that he's bringing in other backs when Micah Bernard's still pretty fresh. When we got Tavion Thomas fumbling twice officially the past 2 weeks, but in all reality, he fumbled 3 times. The other one just wasn't official. Honestly, I don't want to see that guy touch the ball right now. Like, at least for a week or two until he figures it out. Tavion Thomas, just keep him off the field, dude. He looks athletic and he makes runs, but if you're fumbling every other time you get tackled, I don't want you on the field. All right, and then another question we're going to have to ask ourselves, guys, is how good is BYU? Now, like I said about Jaren Hall, the guy was really, really good. I don't want to make too many big statements about what I see him as, but I think you'd have to be incredibly biased not to leave that game feeling like you saw a special player on the field. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that, but I think BYU's going to be in the top 25 next week, no doubt about it. But I just think we got to don't act like the season's over yet, guys. I know it feels that way tonight, but it's really not the case. We got a lot of football left to play, and BYU could be a much better team than we're making them out to be. So please don't crucify everybody yet. We got a lot of kinks to work out. We have a lot of new players on this team and a lot to look forward to as the year goes on. All right. Where were the tight ends tonight? Honestly, there was that one drive where we hit Kuthi for number 80 for that, like a nice little 6-yarder, and then we hit him again for a big bomb in the end zone. I think that was our only passing touchdown of the night. That was nice. Dalton Kincaid, one real big play for like 30 yards, something like that. But other than that, like, we were not using the tight ends. I was racking my brain watching this. The tight ends. Why were we not giving Micah Bernard the ball more than 12 times when he's averaging 12 yards a carry? It doesn't make sense. And then why are we not giving the tight ends the ball? They kept even talking about it on TV. I talked about it in my pregame breakdown, how good this tight end group is. And I was just sitting there in disbelief that we were just this lethargic offense that has all these weapons and we're not using any of them. Another big question is going to be who's going to step up at wide receiver. I mean, Britton Covey, he's a real good returner. He had one really explosive return, impressive. But there was that pass, that seam route up the middle where he had the ball. He could have gotten possession. It was a tough catch, but he didn't make it happen. And I'm pretty sure I remember another pass or two where he didn't make it happen. So I can't name anyone that I would feel good about at receiver. Someone needs to step up. The receiving core is a joke right now. Hopefully we can figure something out as we dive deeper into the season. But that needs to get figured out before anything else happens. We're not going to be able to make plays if all of our receivers suck. And yeah, Britton Covey doesn't suck all around, but looking at how things went tonight, I'd say basically our whole receiver room sucks. I'll have to, look at their grades and all that, but just what I was seeing on TV, maybe it's Brewer. Maybe Brewer's just not throwing them the ball, but it really felt like they were messing up a lot too. All right, another thing is going to be the slow defensive line for Utah. I've been watching Utah for a while now. I remember in 2018 and 2019, one of the things I noticed so much with Utah was how slow the D-line is. Yeah, we're fantastic at stopping the run, but when we have a fast quarterback like Jaren Hall, they can just make us look stupid. They're scrambling, they're doing whatever they want, and we're just hoping they make bad throws. I'm sure you guys are on the same page as me that was not fun to watch. That was not a good time for me. I did not enjoy that. This D-line looked like they were running 5 flats on average, and Jaren Hall's out here running a 4.4. They could not chase him down. I can remember a few plays where he took the angle, like that 4th down run, that big run he made, where they tried to take an angle on him, but he was so much faster than them that it didn't even matter. So that's obviously, that's part of the structure of Utah's defense. So hopefully next time we run into a really fast quarterback, we can have guys like Nephi Sewell and Devin Lloyd spying the quarterback. 2 guys I do want to give a shout out to. Those 2 were impressive tonight, were big playmakers. One of the few bright spots on the defense. Honestly, as the game got going and Jaren Hall got comfortable, that defense was pretty embarrassing. So hopefully that works itself out. This is kind of to close with you guys. For the first time tonight, I understood the term Zoobies. I hear it a lot in the Facebook groups and stuff. When I was sitting there watching those BYU students just freaking out anytime anything would happen, like their running back would get 3 or 4 yards and they would lose their mind. I couldn't just help but sit there and think oh, this is why they call them Zoobies. This is why we call them Zoobies. It was just ridiculous, and it was just like, okay, I'm not going to go into all the details on why they're Zoobies, this and that, but it made a lot of sense to me tonight. I was just like, oh, man, shut up. It's a 4-yard run, or it's like, I can't think of every example, but I just remember sitting there really understanding why we would call them that. Just like how excited they got. Like this was the greatest thing in their life. All right, but now where do we go from here, guys? So we got SDSU coming up, we got Washington State coming up, and then we'll have USC. The good thing is SDSU and Washington State, both very beatable teams. There's a really good chance. Honestly, I was hoping we would get off to a 4-0 start, but after the loss to BYU, there's a really good chance we could get off to at least a 3-1 start. With that, that'll be great. We do have to figure some of this stuff out, though. SDSU is not a joke. Like Washington State, traditionally not a very good football team. But SDSU, they're kind of hit or miss. And if we go out there with Charlie Brewer taking 5 drives to complete a pass or to get any rhythm going, we're not going to win those games. like this needs to be addressed right away. Good news, offensive line felt a little better than I thought it was. Still got confused a few times, let some free rushers in. On the blitzes, on delayed blitzes. But in general, they held their own a lot better than I thought they would. Tight ends, when they got the ball, they looked good. I think from here, really what we need to do is treat Micah Bernard like what he is. He's one of the stars on this offense. Keep feeding him the ball. 12 yards a carry. 12 yards a carry. The fact that this guy only got 12 carries and he was averaging over 12 yards a carry is so embarrassing. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I swear, dude, if Tavion Thomas gets in there and fumbles again and Micah Bernard's putting over 5 yards a carry, I'm going to lose my mind. I don't understand how that can happen. But I'm getting off on a rant. We need to be focused on these next 2 games, SDSU and Washington State. We have a real shot to go 3-1. Hopefully, Andy Ludwig, Kyle Whittingham, they figure out what we're going to do at quarterback, whether that's figuring out how to get Brewer confident and get him in some rhythm, or that means going with Cam. Whatever is best for the team, I hope we just stick to it and move forward. Just right now, what we're doing on offense, where it takes us a full half to really get going, is not going to work against competitive football teams. But hey, guys, it is late, and I am kind of sad from watching the Utes get beat up tonight by Jaron Hall. But I'll post the video up, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. This has been really fun for me to be able to interact with you guys. I want to hear what you guys think. Anything else you noticed that you think I should be commenting on. I took a lot of notes about people that did good. Maybe I didn't give everyone the shout-outs they deserved, or other players that looked really poor that you think I should have touched on. Please, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you keep getting more. I'll be talking to you guys again next week about the San Diego State matchup. Make sure I bring you a breakdown for that, guys. All right, have a good night. Bye, guys.